it's Tina and I am back. And I have a kind of fun video for you guys. I am doing a get ready with me where I'm trying out a bunch of new products that I received in PR and that I also picked up on my own because I wanted to test some new products out, some things that were interesting and things that pulled me in that I was like, oh, I need to use these on camera with you guys and give you my thoughts. So look upon this palette. This is from Urban Decay. It's the new Wired palette. This is the palette we're using today, and I got this sent to me by Urban Decay, and I was like, excuse me, even if I didn't get this sent to me, I was gonna purchase it anyway because I love the electric palette. Where did I put it? Here it is. So the Wired palette is a replacement for the original electric palette, which was the colorful neon palette that we were all so in love with, and it was fresh and new when it was released because nothing else was like this on the market. And they discontinued this beautiful palette and a lot of people were sad, and of course we voiced it on social media. We were like, excuse me, please and thank you, can you please release a new version? And they did. So this is the Wired palette and we're gonna use it in this video along with a couple other things that I picked up. So I have a few things from Fenty. I have a couple of other things that I'm trying out, like a new foundation. So you know what, let's go ahead and jump into the get ready with me, and you will see me put all these products to the test and we'll chat about them. So I'll see you soon. Hey there guys. So as usual, I'm starting off with a clean, freshly washed face, and you guys already know what we're getting into today. We're getting into a ton of new products that I recently received and purchased myself that I want to use for you on camera. Some of them are going to be first impressions, me actually using them, and then some of them I have more of a better, whoop, Lord, I'm breaking things. I have a better idea of how they apply and how they feel and all that stuff because I've already tried them out. So I'm going to start out with skincare. So I'm going in with my Tatcha Violet C Brightening Serum, and I'm gonna allow this to sit on my skin for a few minutes. This has been a nice serum to use, but I really don't see a significant difference between this and my other vitamin C serum, so I probably won't repurchase it. It's not something that I think is just so amazing, it's doing so great that I need to have it in my collection, but you know, I bought it, I'm gonna use it up. It's a very lightweight serum. It leaves a little bit of a sticky residue behind, but it absorbs pretty nicely into the skin after a few minutes. And I find that most vitamin C serums do leave some tack behind, so that's just something you have to contend with a vitamin C product. I'm gonna go in with some eyeshadow primer because we're doing our brows on camera today because I have a new product that I want to show you guys. And I already have some of it in my brows. It's from Urban Decay. It's their new inked brow. What is it considered? It's a waterproof brow gel. So it's not like a pomade or necessarily like one of those feather brow products. They already have one of those in their brow selection. So they have the Brow Blade, which has the micro brow liquid liner already, and this to me is just a version of it with a little bit more pigment to it, but not that much. It's not significant. I just think it's a different application method. And I see that they're also releasing a new brow beater. Now I have the original brow beater, which was one of my favorite brow pencils. It's probably top 2 for me. Honestly, it's second to my Benefit brow pencil because the Benefit brow pencil I feel like has a deeper shade for me. But the shade that I was using in the brow beater, hey, I might as well use it now too, because if they're re-releasing the brow beater, but it has a slightly different shape, so it's still micro fine, but it has more of a triangle shape. And you remember those brow pencils that they debuted, like a lot of brands have that triangle shape, wedge shape that I don't like because it was just too big. So Urban Decay released their micro fine pencil, which I love. So think of Anastasia Beverly Hills, think of, which one is that, NYX, that has that micro fine pencil. Benefit with the Precisely My Brow, which I absolutely love. And they also have a wedge shaped pencil, so they have options available. And Urban Decay is releasing one that's similar to that wedge shape, but it's a micro fine size. So I can't wait to try that out. Actually, I'm very interested because I already love their brow beater. So what I found with this ink brow product, it reminds me of actually the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Gel, in that it's a brow gel, but it's more pigmented, like a denser formula. But I can't use it on its own. I definitely can't. And they tout this as having 40, let me look it up. I thought I was gonna tell you guys a lie by saying it was a 60-hour claim, but it really is. Like, it's gonna tint your brows for 60 hours, which it already tinted some of my brow, but like not too much, so I'm not too nervous about it being too long wearing. But just keep that in mind, like if you don't use oil removers, like oil cleansers, it's not gonna necessarily get rid of the product. Like my brow right now is definitely tinted with the brow gel because I used it like a few hours ago and I washed my face and it's still in my brow, so it does add some darkness to your brow, so be mindful of that. But it doesn't give me a crisp outline. So what I do is outline my brows and then I will go in and apply the brow gel as like a filler and not exactly the only brow product that I use, because it doesn't give me the crispness, the definition, the sharp outline that I really need, that only a pencil can really give me. And that's what I find from this product. It's not really full-on crisp outline. So it's more of if you want to add color to the brows rather than actually outlining your brows with it. And as you can see, like my brows are pretty full, and this is from applying the product from before. So I'm gonna actually have to show you on this side, which I have a little bit more sparseness. So just brush that through. And then I'll go in with the inked product. Now this has a brush applicator. It's a very small angled brush, and the product is a thicker gel liquid. So I'll remove the excess because you don't want too much of this product. And then I'll just lightly go through my brows with the brush. Again, this is not gonna give me full-on color payoff. It's just gonna give me a little bit more product, a little bit of an outline to my brows. And I wanna be careful with it because it will tint your brow hairs and it will tint the skin of your brows. So just be careful with where you apply it, which is why I use a pencil first, because the pencil gives me an outline, right, where I want this product. And I'll just go in and lightly fill in my brows. For someone like me that has thicker brows, I don't think this product is necessarily something I would use that often. But if you have sparse brows, I think it's a good little product to have handy. You see, it adds that tint right there. And I'm just gonna fade that out with a clean brush. And I'm gonna leave it at that because I find that if you apply too much of the product, your brows, the hairs can get very sticky and clumpy. So I just use a little bit and brush it through the hairs, and we're gonna leave it at that. Alright, so we have the brows down. Let's go in with my eyeshadow primer, which is my Urban Decay Anti-Aging Primer Potion. And I have a new concealer that I want to try out. I'm gonna use it on my face, but I'm thinking maybe I want to use it on my eyelids too because it has a drier finish. But let's go in with my moisturizer because my serum has had a few minutes to sit. So I am using my La Mer, the moisturizing gel cream. I've had this for a while now and I spent a lot of money on it, and I'm gonna use these guys up. Like, I've been going through my collection and I've noticed how many products I have that I'm not using, and I'm like, oh hell no, we're gonna get our money's worth, or at least try to, from a few of these products. This one being one that I need to definitely use. This is pleasant, but I spent a lot of money on it, and it ain't that great. I mean, it's good, but it ain't worth like a few $100s. Like, who are we kidding? This ain't no, because I've used other moisturizers that feel great too. I'm a, you know, that it feels good, okay, but I'm not ever gonna repurchase that. Absolutely not. But we using it up. So the concealer that I mentioned is the Pat McGrath Labs concealer. This is new. I got the shade M21. It's the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer. I think this is a glass tube, which feels weighty, it feels expensive, it feels luxurious. I'm like, excuse you, Auntie Patricia. So what I found with this concealer, like I said, some of these things I already like low-key tested out. Like, not really like for real tested out, but I tried this concealer in store, and it dries matte, right? So I'm gonna use this under my brows first, just to create an outline. Now that looks a little bit, maybe not on camera, but it looks orange in person. So I don't know what's going on with these undertones, but the undertones in store, I had to like maneuver them and go through them and be like, which one am I gonna get? And I finally settled on this one, because when I blended it out, it was the one that blended into my skin without getting too dark. And that's the thing with matte products. When they dry down, they can get a little bit deeper. And it's not necessarily that they're oxidizing, it's just that they're matte, so when they dry down, it gives a deeper look. And this is a new sponge from Allure. They recently released new brushes and a sponge, and they sent the set to me, so I am definitely trying them out. And the sponge is actually pretty nice. It's very soft. It's not as soft as a beauty blender. I feel like the beauty blender, no one will ever get as springy as a beauty blender, but this is pretty springy. It's in between. Yeah, I think it's stiffer than, like, what's that, the Flower Beauty one, and it's definitely stiffer than the beauty blender, but I like a stiffer sponge, but it's springy at the same time. So we're gonna try this guy out, but so far I like it. So good job on this Ripley. So let's go ahead and blend the concealer all the way over the lids. I don't know how this is gonna work as an eyeshadow base. It's not meant to be an eyeshadow base, so obviously I'm using it for a purpose that it's not intended, but I just want to see how it works since it's such a matte dry formula. And I find that those work the best for me if I'm using a concealer as an eyeshadow base, which it's not intended for, of course. Okay, so for the eyeshadow palette, as I mentioned, I'm using this one from Urban Decay. It's brand new. It's their wired eyeshadow palette. And it's not just an eyeshadow palette. It has like pressed pigments in here as well, and they separated it into two parts. So this one, it's marked face and body, and then this one is for eyes, face, and body. So these ones would be the pressed pigments, which are not necessarily recommended for use on the eyes because they can cause staining and sometimes irritation. So just be mindful of that. I use them on my eyes and I'm fine. So it's up to you. Use at your own risk, and they're very clear with that. They split it so there are no questions about which shades are meant for use on the eyes versus not so much recommended for eye use. So keep that in mind. But this is based off the original electric palette. So they discontinued the electric palette. And this palette, when it released, it was like there was nothing like this on the market. Like, oh my god, this was so amazing. It's a rainbow palette. It has neon colors. Like, oh my god. So this was amazing. And when they discontinued this, a lot of people were like, why Urban Decay? Why we want to reboot? So they did release their wired palette. The wired palette still follows a similar theme. If you can see, we have the purples, the pinks, but the wired palette also includes a white and an orange, which in the previous palette they didn't have that. They had a silver, and then they had a teal and two blues. In the wired palette, they repeat a couple of the shades that were popular from the electric palette. So the shade Chaos is from the original palette, and this was one of the most popular shades because it's so beautiful. It's such a stunning blue. So it's in this palette. They also have Slow Burn, which is this orange tone red. It's the same in the palette. And then we also have Savage, which is the pink. A lot of people love the pink, so Savage is also included, but the remainder of the shades are new. The purple in the palettes, they look very similar. So this one was Urban, and then the new one is called Gravity. They look very similar, but I think you can see on camera this one is a little bit more red toned and this one is a little bit more blue based. And there are more mattes in the new palette. So the majority of the shades are matte. We have two shimmers, which are Current and the purple shade, but then the rest of them are matte or mostly matte because Slow Burn has like micro shimmer in it, but it comes off and applies as a matte would. The neon green shade in the palettes too. So we had one in the old palette called Thrash, and then we have a new one called Jolt in the Wired palette, which is a lighter tone, but it looks very similar. So even though the shades are different, there are some similarities, and of course those three repeat shades. So if you want me to do like swatches and a full breakdown, let me know, because I can definitely get into that with you guys. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and play with the palette. I'm gonna go into the warm orangey tones that probably everybody has done, but I haven't done it, and I've done too many blue looks lately. So let's go into the shade Switch, which is the orange shade here. And I am going to apply this with a Detail Pro brush from Sonia G, and I'm lightly applying this because I don't know what to expect right now. I don't know. Ooh, that pigmentation is pretty. I do like a pretty orange in the crease. I don't necessarily think an orange goes with every look, so I would never use an orange crease with a blue, like a blue lid or something, because it just doesn't mesh. It doesn't blend well together. But an orange is really great for a nice warm look with reds and pinks. So I think that orange is pretty nice. What do you guys think? Okay, with the orange down, I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Savage, which is a pink shade. And I'm using one of my Hakuhodo brushes. This is a J5523. And I wanna apply this just on the center of the crease. So I'm not bringing it all the way on the outside. I'm keeping it right on the center. So I pulled out my Hakuhodo brushes because after I did my favorite brushes video, a lot of people are like, oh, what happened to your Hakuhodo brushes? I thought you loved those. Are they no longer your favorites? And I'm like, hold on. I was just showing you my current favorite brushes as it stands today, like my most used brushes. That doesn't mean I don't still stand by my love for the Hakuhodo brushes, you know? So we're gonna go in with Slow Burn, which is the orangey red. Now this guy has a little bit of glitter to it, or shimmer. It's like very fine silver glitter. And they probably added that to the formula to help with blending. But I don't know that I love that color too much. It applies decently. Like, it's not horrendous, but it's not like giving me ultimate pigmentation, which is fine because maybe I just want a simple wash. Not everybody is going for hella pigmentation, you know? But if you were looking for like a brilliant, bold, intense red, you're not gonna get it from this. But if you were just trying to dabble into the little red zone, then that might actually be a good color for you. We're gonna grab the purple really quick. So it's Gravity, and this one is a shimmer, but I feel like it still comes off matte enough to be used as a deepening shade. So I'm using my Sonia Kashuk brush and applying that to the outer V, and I'm using circular motions to deposit the color. So this is gonna be a little trickier because I'm applying the color over color that I already placed down on the lid. So I'm not applying this directly on the concealer that would grab the product. So I have to really push the product into the skin so it sticks. Now I don't need it to be too intense, I just don't want it to be patchy, and it's not applying patchy at all, which is a good thing, and it's applying pretty decently. And again, I don't need ultra pigmentation from this. I feel like you could definitely build this color up for pigmentation, especially if you used it directly on the lid, but for what I'm using it for right now, it's actually working out pretty well. And you see, you can still see it, and it doesn't look shimmery or frosty or anything. Okay, this is working out pretty nicely. Good job, Urban Decay. Because I know a lot of people have been talking about how purples are difficult to make, especially lately with all these purple palettes. And you know what, purples get this bad rap, and I don't think it's necessarily warranted, because we've seen great purples before. It's not like purples are this, oh my god, this mysterious thing that can't ever be made. They can be done, and they can be done well, so I don't know what the issue is, but whatever. So we have the purple down, right? I feel like I want to put just a little bit of the blue. This is Chaos. So this color is definitely the most pigmented one in the palette. It gives the most punch. So I'm just gonna apply that on the edge of the purple. So it's gonna give a little color, like a little duochrome look to the purple, add a little more depth, but it's still gonna give us that pop of blue. But I'm not applying too much. Oh, this is a Sonia Kashuk small eyeshadow brush. See, I don't want this to be too intense and too crazy. Let me pick up some of the purple too and apply it to see. Yeah, see? With an eyeshadow brush. So I was using a blending brush. With an eyeshadow brush, a shader brush, look how intensely that picked up. So this purple is definitely getting kudos from me. But to build it up, I'll apply it with an eyeshadow brush, and then let's clean off our blending brush and go around the edge of that color. So I want to stop there actually. I don't want to do much more than that. I think, let me add a little bit of the purple out here, a little bit more, just to give that circular shape. I was playing around, and I feel like I want to put a little bit more blue on the lid, just a little bit, not too much. I think that looks better. All right, I need to back up and back off before I start doing too much, because this is what happened last time. I was like, oh, let's do this, let's do this. No, we're stopping right here, and I'm grabbing a makeup wipe just to run along the edges of the eyeshadow to clean up right under my eye. Okay, so I'm grabbing one of the mattes from Urban Decay, one of their singles. This is ABC Gum. I'm gonna pop this under the brow as a highlight. That's so beautiful. Just a subtle, very subtle highlight. And then on my eyelid, I'm gonna grab the same shade on an eye shader brush from Sonia Kashuk, and we're gonna apply that all over the remainder of the lid. And that's just gonna give us that lighter skin tone shade. There's a white in the palette, but I do not want to use a stark white just because my skin tone ain't white, sis. So we don't need to add white there, because it's just not gonna, no, it's not gonna do. I feel like I want to do a pop-up neon on the inner tear duct, so I'm actually gonna go in with Jolt, which is the neon green. I might need a stronger base for this to pop, we'll see. So I'm just gonna pop that on the inner tear duct area. Yeah, I feel like I might need a white base for that to really pop. I actually have a neon green pencil from Sephora. These pencils from Sephora, I don't know if you guys are into these, but y'all better get on it. So this is their colorful shadow and liner. They're waterproof. They have matte ones and shimmery ones. This one is a matte one, and it's called Fresh Limeade. It is number 37, and it's a lime green shade, and we're just gonna blend that out. So on its own, I could probably leave it like that, and these blend out pretty nicely, so you don't have to worry about having harsh lines with these too much. You just have to blend quickly. And I think this is gonna give us a nice base for that green. And this is kind of cheating a little bit, but because I want that neon to really pop, I really needed to add a base to get the green to pop. Okay, this neon is not really that neon, but I think it still gives a fun look to the eyes. So far, I think this neon green is one of the least impressive shades. That neon green and then this fluorescent lighter light sky blue, those were the ones that I feel like needed help to really stand out on the eyes. Let's now go in with some face stuff before we finish up the rest of the eyes. So for foundation, I'm gonna use one that's new to me. This is from Smashbox, and I've heard so many people talk about this one. They released it last year and a lot of people went crazy. So it's a Smashbox Studio Skin Full Coverage 24-hour foundation. I have the shade 4.0, which is medium dark warm peach undertone. I don't have no warm peach undertone, so I don't know where I'm going with this. We will see. I don't think I found a better shade, and I usually use 4.0 or 4.1 with Smashbox, but sometimes 4.1 can be too dark. We're gonna see. Yeah, that's definitely peachy. So this is an Allure foundation brush. Like I said, they released their new collection. So there are 4 brushes in the collection. This one is an angled fan brush, right? This one is like a really large paddle style powder brush. This one is also a large powder brush, but it has a different shape. As you can see, this is a large paddle, very floppy. This one is still floppy, but it's a rounded one. And then you have the foundation one, which is right up my alley because this is the kind of foundation brush that I like. I prefer to apply my foundation with a brush. Point blank, period, okay? So I love that they included a foundation brush, and it's a buffer style brush, which is my preference as well. And it has soft, dense bristles. It's a curved shape, and these are cruelty-free bristles. They're synthetic, so they don't use natural animal hair or anything. And these are ultra soft, so you're not losing the softness, the luxurious feel of the animal hair because you're going to synthetic. You still have a nice softness and a luxurious feel to these bristles. So I really love the foundation brush. I think they have the collection available as a set, and then they have individuals. They may need to restock because they are a smaller brand, so they don't have all the products available in large quantities. So just keep an eye out in case you're interested, and I think they're having a sale, and they usually have sales, so you can keep an eye out for that. This foundation looks very light on my skin, and it's definitely the wrong undertone, but I can tell you right now, I don't love it, and that's because of how it feels. Like, I feel it. Like, sometimes with foundations, it's almost like you're not wearing foundation, and that's speaking from somebody who wears foundation pretty often. So I don't always feel product on my skin, even though somebody who doesn't wear makeup will definitely feel it. I don't feel it as much. So if I'm telling you that I feel this on my skin, then that goes to show you. It doesn't look bad. It looks pretty decent. I didn't put on a lot because it is a different color than I need, and it is full coverage, so I don't want to go overboard with it. Yeah, I wouldn't try to get a matching color either. So now I'm going in with the Pat McGrath concealer, which she just released, and I have the powder to go with it. So this packaging, A+ because it's glass, it's sleek, it's sexy, it's not too pricey. I believe it's $32 or $34, and it contains 5 milliliters or 0.16. Now, I was looking at other concealers to see how this compares size-wise, and so the Urban Decay one that I love contains 0.35 ounces, which is almost double this. So it looks deceptive because it looks like the same amount of product, no worries. They are not, okay? This is almost double, and I think they're close to the same price. So the price, you might be like, oh, well, it's the same price. I might as well get the higher end one, right? you get less product. And I do love the Urban Decay one. So it's up to you what you're willing to invest in. I do like this concealer based on how it dried down in the store. So I definitely did want to try it out. And I didn't try the foundation because I didn't like the foundation at all. I feel like for that price, I wasn't getting coverage. But the concealer is not that expensive. Let me look it up, y'all. Let me stop lying and just tell you. So the Pat McGrath one is $32 and the Urban Decay one is $29. Again, you get almost double in the Urban Decay one. And I was checking the Pat McGrath one up against Dior and Giorgio and the Giorgio Armani one, because that I've heard so many people rave about. And I was like, oh, let me check it out. The Giorgio Armani one I believe is $34. And the Dior was also like $34. And again, they contain about the same amount of product as a Pat McGrath one, right? And I was like, I didn't like the Giorgio Armani one because it had like zero coverage. It was so thin, and that is just not my jam. And plus the shade range is just pathetic as far as I'm concerned. Oh, let me zoom in so you can see the concealer under my eyes. So here's the concealer on this side, right? You can see it. Pretty nice. It looks like a decent coverage. It doesn't look dry or heavy or cakey at all, which I appreciate. And now I'm going in with the powder, which comes with the collection. So this is the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. This is 4 grams and they have, I believe, 3 or 4 shades. This one is the darkest shade. It's deep, and you see it's not that deep, but it's for under the eyes. So it's not meant to pack a lot of pigmentation. It's just meant to blur under the eyes. And when I touched this powder in store, it was so soft. It feels like cornstarch. It's so smooth that I had to get it. So that's why I picked it up, and it looks pretty. Why did I zoom back out so I can show you how it looks? That looks pretty nice, right? It does blur a yeah, it does look really nice on the skin. And now I'm gonna go in and set the rest of my skin. I think I want to go in with my all-nighter powder from Urban Decay. You see how I snuck this in there? This is the Blendiful Powder Puff from Tati Beauty. I really was not intended on picking this up because I could care less. But curiosity got the better of me, and I was like, okay, it's not that pricey. It's $18 and I do like a puff. So I did go ahead and pick this up. Now, everybody has been using this for foundation and blending out. Well, I ain't gonna do it because that's not what, like, I don't feel good about applying my foundation with this. You know what I mean? But it's nice for applying powder. And since I apply powder every day, I was like, all right, I can have this. And then she has the little baby, whatever this is. So this is great for travel. So I can use this when I travel. And it was $18 for the 2. Pricey because I can probably get a similar thing. And whatever, okay? I got it. And I'm not like obsessed with it as far as like blending out liquids, because I would never. But I like it enough. It's soft. It didn't fall apart, and it's cute for applying powder. So I don't know. Like, what's your? I don't know. Like, I really can't explain myself because it has no explanation. So just give me a break, okay? So I'm gonna go back in with the purple on the lower outer. Listen, I can't even speak. You see how long I haven't filmed? The outer lower lash line. That purple actually, it has no issues. Look, panda, nice. Alright, and then I'm gonna go in with the blue Chaos. This is such a good blue. I love this blue from the original, and I'm glad they included it in this new one as well. So apply that to the center of the lower lash line. I'm not gonna do any more than that, but we do have to blend that out because that looks a lot. So just blend out the edge with a clean blending brush. And then I'm gonna go in with a new mascara from Fenty Beauty. This is called the Full Frontal Volume Lift and Curl Mascara in the shade Cause I'm Black. And the brush is kind of like a conical shape. It looks like a cone, but if you turn it this way, it's flat, and then if you turn it this way, it's wide, which that was supposed to be innovative. And I see where you were going with this, but it just has longer bristles on one side and then shorter. Listen, I am not judging a damn thing. I'm just trying to apply this mascara, okay? So when I originally tried this mascara, I did not like it because it does nothing to give me volume to my lashes. So this is my third time trying it, and I'm trying to give it a chance. And before, I didn't use eyeshadows at all, so I didn't have like residue on my lashes to give me added volume. So I don't know if you realize this. When you apply your eyeshadows, you obviously get powder residue on your eyelashes. Even if it's not extremely visible, you still get a little bit of powder on your lashes. And when you apply mascara after all that, it does give a little bit more grip to your lashes for mascara to adhere to. So it's almost like applying a powder primer to your lashes, and it does help the mascara give you a little bit more volume. Now, I didn't use eyeshadow when I used it. I just used it on my regular old schmegular lashes without like full face beat, and I didn't get the volume that I wanted at all. Now, it's good at separating the lashes, and it gives decent color to the lashes as well. I just don't get the volume, and my lashes don't struggle too much with length or curl, so I'm not really over here like, oh my god, look at this, right? So I'm not very impressed by this mascara. I think it's a nice mascara, it functions well, but it doesn't give me volume, like va voom to my lashes, which is fine because it does still give a decent look to my lashes. We ain't gonna lie about that. I just don't get the wow factor from this. So if you have little baby lashes, I don't know if you're gonna be wowed or blown away by what this mascara can do for you. And I'm like really layering this up, so it looks good, right? You're like, oh, but that looks good. Yeah, because my lashes are decently long, like they're not struggle lashes, so mascaras won't like really look terrible on my lashes unless they're really bad. And I've had really bad mascaras, like the Kush mascara from Milk. That is so horrible, and then it flakes in your eyes. So this does a nice job. It does. I'm not gonna lie, but it doesn't rival my favorite mascara, which is from Too Faced, right? Let me show you what's gonna happen when I apply some Too Faced. This is a dry ass Too Faced mascara. I have like 3 in here, and I don't know which ones are new from which ones are old. Okay, this is a new one. Don't judge me. So when I apply the Too Faced over this, you're gonna see that I get a lot more volume versus without the Too Faced. Let's go ahead and apply some lower lash line color, or lower waterline I should say. This is also one of the Sephora liners. This is the teal one. It's in the shade Staying Alive number 36. I love these liners. I tried the Fenty liners. I tried one of them, and it burned the holy crap out of my lash line. My eyes were watering. My eyes burned for 3 days after. Like, I wanted to film videos, and I just could not bring myself to put makeup on because my eyes were burning and watering so much. So those liners, no thank you, Pam. I don't want nothing to do with them. Let me try the shade Switch, which is the orange. The pans are small, they're eyeshadow size pans, so I don't want to get too crazy. And oh, I didn't even factor that in. Maybe that's why these aren't that pigmented. The orange looks cute though. Hey! These are pigmented, but not like overly pigmented, so you can use them on your eyes and then use them on your face as well. That actually looks pretty nice as a face product, right? I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the pink, just to kind of mix it in and make it like a pinky orangey coral look. That's nice. Okay, so we're gonna use that. That's cute though. That's not bad. All right, I'll appreciate that. And then what else do I have that's new? I don't know, but I'm gonna be right back to finish up the lips because that's the only thing that we really have left. Alright guys, so face, eyes done. Let's go ahead and work on the lips. And I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a sheer lipstick here. And this is from Urban Decay. It's the shade Phone Call. And it's actually a sheer lipstick. And it's a pinky coral. I'm not going in with too much of this. I just wanted to kind of match the eyes a little bit. But I want to give it like a popsicle look. So I'm going in with this gloss here from Fenty Beauty. And it is the clear gloss and it's in the shade Glass Slipper. And this is, what do they call this? The Gloss Bomb. So she released a couple new shades. She had them released during the holidays. They were in a set, a mini set. So she released, I think, Chocolate and this clear gloss. And I think there was another shade that she released as well. So I'm just going to use the clear gloss to give this a juicy popsicle look to my lips. I love doing glossy lips like this. So when I saw that she was releasing the Gloss Bomb in a clear form, I was like, alright, I'm going to get the clear one because I like clear glosses because I can use them to do this effect. Do you see how shiny that is? So I absolutely love it. And the eyes, I love how the eyes turned out. Like, it's colorful without being intimidating to me. And I feel like that's what this palette is. It's almost like wearable colors because I have other eyeshadows in my collection that would give me far more pigmentation than these did. They would definitely pop a lot more on the eyes. I have a neon green from Ace Beauté is the brand. They have a neon green that definitely pops a lot more than this. And I feel like this is just a little bit more approachable. So if you're afraid of color and you don't know like how to wear it or you don't really want to go crazy with it, I think this might be a good palette for you. Nowadays, I don't really consider palettes all the way terrible. It's just based on what you're interested in. Eyeshadows, you have to be really terrible, really crumbly and flaky for you to be bad quality, especially with all the techniques we've learned with eyeshadow primers and concealer and all this stuff. We know to apply eyeshadow right now, right? And most of the eyeshadow formulations are pretty decent. So it's all about what are you looking for in a formulation. Are you looking for high pigment? Which if you're into colors like this, you may be looking for a highly pigmented palette. This won't be it. But if you're just looking for a way to wear some color without being crazy, this might actually be a pretty decent palette for you. And I like the formulation. As I mentioned while I was applying the eyeshadows, the fluorescent shade, I already used that and I feel like it doesn't really give you a lot of color payoff. So unless you're really pale and you just need a little bit of color to pop, or if you're looking for subtle color, this won't work for you. And especially if you're darker skin tone than me, just forget it. And then the neon green, it applies decent, but you see I had to apply something else to get the color to really pop. The other shades though, I think work pretty decently. Yeah, I wouldn't complain too much, but this wouldn't be my first recommendation for a colorful palette if you were going for bold, intense looks. But if you just wanted to collect it, or if it's something that you're like, you know what, I want to try it out because it's more approachable color, then go for it. Ooh, what is my hair? I don't know what I'm doing with my hair. I haven't worn my hair in waves like this in a while. I use my InStyler. I usually just go dead straight. It's easier that way. Right? I don't know. Just work with me, okay? And the lip gloss, I love the Fenty Gloss Bomb. I think it's a great formulation. It's not overly sticky, but it's very shiny without having glitter in it. So I love, love, love this. The mascara, I can do without the mascara. I don't even need it. The concealer was actually pretty decent. I was actually very surprised by this, and the powder. I really like the powder. If I had to recommend anything out of this whole selection, would be this little under eye powder. It's so blurring and so smooth and finely milled, but it doesn't look powdery under the eyes. That's a win to me. The concealer is pretty decent too, but I feel like there are other concealers on the market that have more product, are cheaper, and do the same thing. Again, with all the formulations on the market now, it's almost like you have to really blow me away for me to be impressed, because the Urban Decay concealer, I already love that, you know, so whatever to that. The foundation, even though this is not my right shade, like I am not interested in getting a proper shade because I don't like the way this feels on my skin. It does look really nice, but I can do without that. So all in all, this was just an okay get ready with me, an okay testing out of products, and I'm just alright with everything. So I don't know, take that for what it's worth, but I did want to show you these new products and put them to work on camera so you can get an idea of what looks you can achieve from this palette. And I do think it's a fun palette. It's a fun replacement to the electric palette. I love the electric palette, and I think this is a good little sister palette to it. But again, I want to run out and chase it. But hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you so much. I did here in my lip gloss. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, this get ready with me, and I will leave a full list of all the products used and mentioned in this video down below as per usual. I will also leave links on where you can pick them up. If those links take you to Sephora or Ulta, those are affiliate links, which means I will get a small sales commission if you make a purchase through those links. It doesn't change the sale price at all. It just means I get a small kickback if you use my links. If you're not comfortable with that, just shop the way you normally shop, no muss, no fuss. But if you do shop through my links, thank you so much, because it does help me to put right back into the channel. And I've started putting asterisks between the affiliate links so they're clearly marked. You don't have to question anything. And yeah, I'm also gonna leave links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, where you should be following me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.